Hello and welcome in. I am MissKinghorn and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. This time we are building a coffee cafe for Ninsta's August build challenge. Now they are all about casual cafes and there's 4 different options you can build from. First is the stylish coffee. Whether you need to catch a coffee on the go to catch up with an old friend or do some work during a lunch break, create a chic atmosphere to enjoy your coffee of your choice. A trendy Bua tea or bubble tea is not new but as trendy as ever with plenty of flavour customizations. Create a hip Buha shop, hangout for hipsters, tea drinkers. Tropical juice. Sometimes you need an energizing and fruity drink like a freshly made fizzy juice. Create a colourful modern store or go all out with a tropical safari vibe. Cute bakery. What is instead of focusing on the beverage, you focus on the baked goods and pastries. Go fashionable with cupcakes or traditional with a British tea party. Now you can have any of those options, any lot type or in size, no budgets, no packs, as long as you have no CC, and upload them to the Sims 4 gallery using the hashtag NiniCaf. I will pop a link to their Twitter feed where you can get this image as well down in the description for you. But I wonder if you've worked out which one we are building from the title of today's build. So yes, we are going to be doing a stylish coffee, which I thought was quite nice given the new pieces we had. Right, so let's get started. So we're going to do a stylish cafe, quite a modern style, I've got to say. I've seen a couple of reference images that I've kind of taken bits and pieces from for doing this, and you'll see later on there's some very sort of stylized pieces in this build, but the overall shape sort of style and colour is completely sort of my own design. So it's going to be quite a small little cafe, I think. Well, we managed to get quite a few tables in it, I've got to be honest, and there is a little bit of a basement in here. I needed a little bit more space but wasn't sure, didn't want to go up, so I thought if we go down for a little bit, and you'll obviously see what we place in there later on, is just a toilet and a sort of more relaxed seating that obviously if you're going to use it as a cafe you can't really use, which is a bit of a shame to be honest, but it is what it is sadly. So going for quite a sort of minimalist sort of style, so lots of black, lots of white colours coming through in places, and then we're going to use a little bit of sort of quite bright sort of wood shades, if I'm being honest, but you'll see all of that. Now we are actually using the tall wall height, which is something I don't tend to do because it looks very large, but I thought for this it would work quite nicely in there. So lots of windows, lots of sort of natural light coming in. I'm trying to get a door to match these windows, even though they're in the same style, the swatches don't match. I don't know why, but we had to drop it down to a medium door, which actually was kind of a good thing when you look at it because I was able to put a sign above the door as well. But more windows going in there, and so that's kind of the outside sort of layout. There's a little bit more that we're going to do here and there that you'll see later on, but lots of sort of minimalist style, so even the flat little roof going in there. We've got some little half balls as well coming through, and then I wasn't sure what kind of roof texture to do, so we've kind of gone for that one, but yeah. And here is the big sign, so we're going to place it on here, but we're going to do a little bit of tool magic and rotate that round into there. That was one of the key things that I saw on the build, on the Pinterests, that a lot of places had, so I thought do something kind of similar like that. We've got that big sort of white column and that black looks quite nicely. Same sign the right way round in here in the white so it fits nicely in there, and then just using some more little half walls, or I think they're fences in there, just to create that nice little shading sort of space. It doesn't really do a great deal, but it just looks quite nice around there. And just changing that up so it's in a bit more white. So they're basically the colours for the outside, and kind of going through inside as well, so nice and neutral. And I've just done a little bit of landscaping, so there's a few little white plants here and there, and I've also put the tiles on the floor. But you can see all of those. And then this is one of the key things that I wanted to get in, that lots of places sort of now do, a nice little sort of computer sort of bar sort of area in there. Right. And now we are actually I'm using the island living counters simply because I wanted the waterfall edge, and they're the only ones that actually have a waterfall edge. But these bits here are going to go in front of them because it's got a very wicker sort of shape onto style onto it, so I didn't really want those. I wanted a nice kind of white sort of look along the front. So you can see I've done all of these, and then we're just going to change them all up and move them a little bit closer so that it's a little easier to use into there. And then it's simply just going to be a copy and paste job to get all of these once they're in the right place, all the way along both sides of this sort of counter island kind of area. As I say, it's going to have lots of sort of computers and bits like that in it as well. I'm very quickly realising I've not placed them in the right place, so a little bit more work needed there. And then you can see I've cut lots of that out. It was a little bit fiddly, so I thought we'll cut all of that out, and then I've placed some taller ones over the top just to give you a little bit more privacy if you are working on some of those in there. Now we're using the City Living computers. I think they've kind of got that sort of look I want. I deleted some chairs because I thought it might be a little bit too many, but then have placed some back, and you can actually sit on them all. You'll see later when I replace them, because I thought maybe you don't want to be on a computer, but you kind of still want to be working on a little area like that. And we do clutter a lot of this area up as well, so that's all going to be nicely decorated. We've just got some plants sort of coming in there, and then again on the other side. Now this is quite a tight, small little area. There's not much space in there, but I am working on quite a small lot and wanted to get as much space in as I can. So you'll see we'll move away from that area, and I'll come back later on to clutter. Now working on the tables, this is the new table from the high school years. I did think about using the tiny living one, which has got the glass top, but decided not to. So these don't technically count as tables for the cafe. So we are also having some smaller ones. I don't know why they don't, but they are classed as dining tables, but not as cafe tables. So I don't really know. It's a strange one, but hey. And then we thought this area over here is where the bar is, sort of not necessarily a bar, but the cafe bit is going to work. So we needed all of those. And I thought a little bit of a sort of sunscreen, maybe a little bit of privacy screen in there as well. So we're just going to grab those big sort of vine plants out in there, and then just put some cabinets in. Now that's going along there, and we're also going to have some shelving underneath here, and I've placed some coffee cups in, and I've toured them around, and I've made them look sort of very nice. However, when I came in to playtest this, they had all disappeared. So you are going to have a shelf in the middle there that you simply just can't really reach, but it was simply designed because the way that the images worked, it had that whole sort of row of cups and different sort of shapes and styles. We've only kind of got two in game, so you can see here I've used the big coffee cups and then the little cappuccino ones as well. So I've kind of done them in a little bit of a pattern, but sadly they don't turn up in game, which is a bit of a shame. There's also some coffee cups I've placed around and some plates and things like that, which again don't turn up. So some of the images might be a little bit different to what you would normally find when you load the game in, but sadly that's nothing I can do. It is just the game being the game. So we are going to place some counters all the way along the back here, and then we're going to do a little bit of detailing around the actual sort of in-game counter that you can see here, because I wasn't really liking the style of it, and it's the only one we've got, so I kind of had to use this one, but it didn't really fit with what I wanted. So you can see here we just change it up a little bit and we place some cabinets in there, hiding a few bits and pieces up in there as well. But a little bit fiddly to get these all in, and then later on I take them all out because I have to put stuff where I need them to go, but all of that will be fine. So we're just going to tool those down so just slightly raised up, but nowhere near a level that you would even notice, and your Sims can still use all of this. It has all been playtested, so that's going to be fine in there, and it just gives us a nice little bit of sort of detailing, and pulling these out even more to hide that section. Alright then, what are we on to next? I think we're just going to clutter this back section up. Oh yeah, no, expression machines. Now this big one can only go on the counter here. It can't go anywhere else, which is a bit of a shame. So you had to use the slightly smaller one, but I did put two on because I thought you would have more than one maybe barista working at a time. Thank you very much, Carl. So I've done that, and I've done a little bit of sort of detailing, and here we're just going to clutter this entire kitchen up so it is nice and not necessarily messy, but sort of lived in, used, and you would find bits and pieces everywhere. So there's lots of coffee pots, there's coffee bags, you've got the tea, lots of other bits and pieces as well, all going to get placed here and there throughout. So these are going to be toured on Ninsta's Twitch channel, which she will do on the end of the month. So be sure to check that out as well. Tours on the 31st of August over on her Twitch channel. I will drop a link to that down below as well, so you can join in there and see what all of the other wonderful, amazing people have created as well in there. Right, more cluttering going on. There is a lot of clutter in this back section, probably more than what I should really have done, but I think it kind of all works together quite nicely in there. Okay, now coming over this side, I'm going to change everything, and very quickly realizing that we needed to kind of place lots of bits and pieces everywhere so that I could place them where I needed this to all work, because of basically the points of where you can actually place things. It wanted to be a bit of a pain, but it's fine. And we don't have like a till or anything. There really wasn't an option to place one. I mean, I could have gone into making a retail lot as well and placed them, but it didn't really fit. So I don't really know how they paid. So I went old school, and we have a book, and I think under the counter maybe there's a little bit of a maybe like a money box or something. But yeah, really there should be a till or checkout area, but couldn't do one, so without making everything sort of more of a different lot, which I have done in the past. You've used multiple lot types to make it all work, but chose not to with this one in here, just to make it a little bit easier for you. And I thought these could be like some napkins or something that you could pick up, use the little towels in there, and now it's just these odd little bits and pieces, coffee cups that we end up moving, and all of this stuff. And there we've done with that bit. So here are some lower tables. Go in, I think we get about 4 in up here, and then I think there's a couple downstairs as well. But there's plenty of seating options everywhere for you all to use. And yeah, using the tiny living sort of chairs that I think make this a little bit better in here. And it's the same sort of colour scheme that I said about the bright sort of wood, sort of orangey kind of wood colours coming through, which we've used in the stairs and other bits and pieces like that. Now up here we are going to do a toilet area up here, which I kind of used as more of a disabled toilet. Now, someone doesn't know, I'm very into accessibility and things like that, and then I realised I've actually placed this on a foundation of 1 step up, so it's not really accessible in the ways I would like, but I didn't think about that at the time. So I should really have come back in and lowered it all down, but I only realised this like right now. So there are little hand valves here and there in this bathroom, and yeah, lots of sort of necessary bits and pieces for all of that making accessible. I would have liked to have rotated one of these up on a different angle, but I couldn't do it with tool. It just sort of came out as weird sort of bits and pieces, so we couldn't do that. And you can also see the shadowing's wrong as well. Hopefully that is one update that we are going to get in for the game. I don't necessarily know how they're going to get it to work, if I'm being truthful, because I think like they wouldn't be able to cover everything, so some things are going to sort of be left out, which is a bit of a shame. But I also understand that the whole sort of spectrum of disabilities, covering everything and everything, is just not possible in either in the game or very sort of even a tiny little bit would be quite difficult to do. But would I like it? Absolutely. Would I think it makes it more realistic? Yes. But I also understand it is quite difficult to do. Alright. Just sort of customizing placements of all of these in here as well, and getting some little soap pots in here as well, just to make it a little bit more sort of realistic as well. And these are very small, so we do scale them up with tool just to make them slightly bigger, so it's a little bit more realistic in there. So those there. And then we are going to give some towels just to dry all our hands afterwards, and then some simple big mirrors over the top there. And it's a very simple bathroom, but I think it all works very nicely in there. Now I have just done one sort of large unisex toilet. I've not done sort of 2 or anything like that. I think we're past having to be separated for things like that in here. And just a little bit more detail in the back there. I was going to do a crosshatch, sort of both of them on top of each other, but it didn't really look quite right, so we just dropped it to the one. And here you can see is that sort of sofa area, kind of more of a relaxed sort of hangout. There are a few more tables down here simply because we needed a few more in. It didn't seem enough upstairs. So that's in there, and I think we get some more tables. Yeah, might be. Yeah, I think we're going to take some out and put some more in, simply because it's just too many sofas. Now I did try to use as much of the new pack as I possibly could for this. I feel like it kind of all fitted. There is quite a lot of modern pieces in there, so you'll see like the sofas, the coffee table, things like that all kind of go in there, and a lot of like posters and decorations as well. Right then, just a few more armchairs down here. I'll make this area a little bit more sort of cozy, a little bit more sort of less sort of formal sort of seating space down here as well. Maybe a little bit of a study sort of area for some sort of teenagers to come down and things like that. Just softening the whole look up with some rugs as well, just to kind of make it felt a little bit more welcoming. There is no sort of natural light down here. I couldn't get any window lights in, which is a bit of a shame. I would have liked to have done that, but the way it sort of all worked, there wasn't really space for me to do that upstairs, so we've just kind of gone with lots of sort of artificial lighting down here. But I hoped it would kind of make it a little bit more sort of cozy, a little bit more sort of more of a hangout sort of space down here. So you can see there's sort of collections of different sofas, sort of sizes, so there's lots of space for your teens to hang out down here. And now using the same sort of wooden beams that we used earlier on, just to kind of create a bit of a backdrop through there. And now we're just putting some nice little decoration focus wall on that area now. And now we are back upstairs cluttering. One of the favourite things to do. So lots of sort of clutter coming here and there, lots of sort of detailing all over the place, just to kind of make it feel a little bit more sort of homely, a little bit more sort of like a real sort of cafe in there. And you can see I've re-added those chairs. I don't necessarily know why I got rid of them, but I did. And now just a few little bits and pieces on all of the tables. So you can see in here we've placed some candles and also a little menu on all of the tables around here, and then these taller ones as well, just so that they're all sort of got the same sort of things, and you can order obviously from there and then, or choose what you want and then go. The kind of sort of idea, obviously you would have to get your food first, on your drinks, and then go and get a seat if you wanted, but that's just how the game works. So last little ones down here in there. Now there is some gallery art, non-CC gallery artwork on the wall, you might have noticed there. Unfortunately, although it says it's no CC, it does apparently tag it as CC, so I got rid of that and I've placed some in-game menus on there as well, so it's a little bit different, but it's right in the screenshots. So I had a struggle trying to find gallery menus sort of things, so I kind of found those ones and then didn't read the description completely, so it's my bad, but I've kind of taken that away and put some sort of standard ones in from the game, which I was going to do and then didn't really like them, so they're not my first choice, I've got to be honest, but you know, it is what it is. So I thought up here we can also have a little bit of a study nook, so I don't want to say a nook, but a little area, maybe they're doing some revision or something, maybe there's a big test coming up. Let's have pieces in there, and some simple little area in there, so it's a little bit more cluttered than any of the others. And then I've also done a bigger one down here, maybe a bigger sort of group coming in as well. Lots of sort of books, lots of research, lots of things like that in there as well. And here are the sort of big posters, lots of the new stuff as well coming in the top down here. So just trying to get that into the right sort of size that we wanted. Lots of sort of pictures. Didn't really fancy another logo there, but going through all of the options and really deciding what we really wanted. And I think we kind of went for some of these sort of scaled up quite largely in here as well. Don't necessarily know where they disappeared and then they came up very strangely. They don't seem to come up with tall, but you can still move them, so I don't know. Maybe there's an issue there with those. And then obviously another one of these big sort of murals on the outside here. And then I thought we can get some nice little lights under here as well, just make it a little bit more sort of a nice sort of style, but struggling with the walls as per in there. And then we need the little ones just on the side, and there we go. And then I think there's one more up this end, which, you know, is always going to be a bit of a pain, but it is what it is. And just getting that into place perfectly in there. And now we're doing some outside lighting, so there is all lighting inside as well, but I found these little ones which we are going to turn to green, which I think turns it quite nice into here as well, in there as well. So that's nicely, and changing that into green, so it gives that really nice sort of lighting effect in there. But for now, this is the end. I will leave you with the screenshots here. If you have liked this video, then please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You can also find me over on Twitch, where I stream 3 times a week, on Twitter, and obviously here on YouTube as well, and also on my Discord. All of the links for that are down in the description below. But thank you all for watching. I'll see you soon.